Hello, welcome back. My name is Melissa Lemon, and today I'm going to be talking about the cerebral spinal fluid and why it's important, what it is, what it does. So, um, the cerebral spinal fluid in our bodies is it's liquid chemicals, two separate chemicals, um, that are secreted from the pituitary and the pineal glands in your brain. And one of these chemical secretions is the color of milk, it's white, and the other chemical secretion is the color of honey, it's gold. So I talked in my last video about how some of this, all of this, all of the sacred secretion um, teachings have to do with the mysteries in the Bible, and this is the mystery of the land flowing with milk and honey. And that is something that you can search out yourself, doing a search of Bible verses that contain the words milk and honey together, and there are many of them. So the flow of our cerebral spinal fluid, or the lack thereof, directly affects our health or our lack of health. So I just want to share a story, probably more than a year ago. I don't remember. It's been a while. I'm a big fan of massages, and that's something I've done in my healing, on my healing journey. And I found this, I just became interested in like craniosacral massage. I had heard about that and I was like, what is that? I want to try that. So I found somebody, she's actually one of my collaborators now. Her name is Beth Luthi, and she's in Cache Valley, and she's amazing if anybody wants to go see her. But I went to my first session with her, and I'd been doing energy work at this time for 2 to 3 years. And I went to this craniosacral massage therapy, and I was like, that was literally like an intuitive healing session. But it's focused on the movement of the spinal fluid. So something that Beth and I have noticed, actually she taught me this, and then I've noticed it now as I'm working with clients, when we're working with people and our nose starts to run, because our bodies give us all kinds of signals about what's going on in the other person that we're working with intuitively or in massage or whatever. And the practitioner's nose starting to run, or the client's nose starting to run, is an indication that their cerebral spinal fluid is on the move. Whatever we just released in them literally helped their cerebral spinal fluid move a little bit. So the goal was cerebral spinal fluid. Someday I'll be able to say that like without getting tripped up. The goal is for it to stay in flow. So, and with the sacred secretion practice during that window where the moon is in your sun sign, the goal is to get it once it's released, for it to come all the way down. Again, remove any blocks that's keeping it, not able to get all the way down, and then having it come back up. And then on the way up, if we're prepared, and that's all I'm going to say for now, if we're prepared, it picks up the Christ seed on its way up, which is key. And this all has to do with like male female energy, even the release of the chemicals. Like one of them is male and one of them is female, and they go down and they come back up, and they collect if they can, if you're prepared, collect a Christ seed, and that's going to come all the way up. The spinal fluid is going to bring that all the way up, back up to the brain, to the glands, and that's when the regeneration can happen. So the goal is to keep ourselves in a state of flow. And I think that I'm thinking about flow, and that's a word that we use often in energy healing. You might have heard of chi, which I learned from Ali Duzet is the heart. It's like the circulation, the heart and the blood pumping the circulation. It's our circulatory system flow, and the prana system is our breath. It's our respiratory flow. And I would say the cerebral spinal fluid is like our light of Christ flow. It's like our spirituality flow. It's what keeps our spirits alive and thriving and quickened and all those things. And so that is my 2 cents of what the cerebral spinal fluid is and how we want that flow to be going within us. And I mentioned in my last video that can literally get stuck and stopped and stop flowing freely every month, even from the time we're infants. I think trauma can happen that young, or we can get, even, coming out of the womb can put somebody out of alignment. Like that's, so it's interesting. It's an important thing to be aware of, I think, because of that regeneration ability that it has. And I just want to end with a scripture verse, and it's actually in the Book of Mormon. And the reason I picked this verse is because I didn't do a super thorough study, but in my very short little research, I couldn't find a Bible verse that had both of these phrases in them. In fact, I don't know if the one phrase at the end of the verse is in the Bible or not. I'm not sure. But this, I just want to read this, and then maybe I'll talk about it for a second. So this is in 2 Nephi chapter 26, verse 25. It says, "Behold, doth he cry unto any, saying, Depart from me? Behold, I say unto you, Nay. But he saith, Come unto me, all ye ends of the earth, buy milk and honey, without money and without price." And what that is saying, in my opinion, what I think that is saying, what I believe that is saying, is healing is free, because it is within you. It's within our cerebral spinal fluid and the flow of our cerebral spinal fluid. And as people begin to practice this monthly keeping track of when the moon is in your sun sign and trying to clear, especially trying to stay in flow during that time, that 2.5 to 3, up to 5 days, depending on your practice. And I'll talk about that more in another video. But that's the goal, and that's the reward for practicing this and for helping is regeneration, is coming closer to God, closer to that light of Christ that's within us, and that healing power and potential that lies within our physical bodies, which we know from the scriptures are holy temples. So that is all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye.